Competing in AI is not cheap, and that's why Snapchat says that they'll spend up to $1.5 billion a year on the technology. Welcome back to the AI Daily Brief Headlines Edition, all the daily AI headlines you need in around 5 minutes. Today we kick off with a story around how one social technology player plans to stay relevant in the era of artificial intelligence. And that is, of course, by spending a bunch of money on artificial intelligence. The headline is that Snapchat is aiming to spend around $1.5 billion per year on AI. This came out of a Bloomberg interview published with CEO Evan Spiegel, where he said there was a recognition that we'd fallen behind the curve on the machine learning side, which to some degree was reflected in the business performance. We needed to improve there and bring together some of our most senior machine learning folks to just talk about what it would look like for us to get to state of the art and really invest. Now, obviously, there is a big buzzy headline with this $1.5 billion. But what's really interesting about this story is the way that artificial intelligence is changing the fundamental business model of some of these companies. From payments.com, the report noted that Snapchat has been dealing with major shifts in both how people use social media and the types of ads marketers want to buy on them. There was a time when the platform revolved around messaging, with advertisers focused more on telling brand stories instead of trying to drive immediate purchases. Now the company is spending money on machine learning, AI, and augmented reality features that tap into Snap's ads business and user feeds. So what are the types of things that Snapchat might do with AI? Well, one influencer characterized it like this. Sarah Safari, a fitness influencer with more than 2 million followers on Instagram, said, AI can streamline what used to be a tedious influencer discovery and relationship building process by creating instant filters, screening for influencer fraud, engagement metrics, and the forecasting of campaign results based on past data. This means that campaigns can be better targeted, evaluated, and eventually run at scale. I continue to think that marketing, writ large, is one of the areas that will adopt AI the fastest and the most aggressively, in part because it is the most receptive to the types of cost efficiencies and performance increases that AI can bring, and part because marketing has gotten used to quickly adapting to new types of technologies over the past decade. Speaking of platforms where marketers spend lots of their money, even as they fight the battle in the US to keep TikTok unbanned, ByteDance is doing well in native China. Bloomberg again reports that ByteDance-owned Dubao, which is an AI chatbot released about a year ago last August, has surpassed Baidu's ErnieBot in overall downloads and now has more monthly users on iOS in China. One thing that's worth noting, this is just on iOS devices. Bloomberg says while the research does not include Android mobile stores, it illustrates the wider trend in the Chinese market. One interesting difference between the Chinese chatbot market and ChatGPT and Claude, etc. in the US is that Ernie is the only one of the top 5 chatbots that actually offers a paid subscription tier. And according to data analytics firm Sensor Tower, they say that Ernie has brought in less than $500,000 from in-app purchases and subscribers since it launched in March of last year, which seems incredibly low, but apparently advertising is the much bigger market, and Baidu says Ernie will bring in several billion yuan of additional revenue through advertising and cloud services this year. Moving from China over to the UK now, Chair of the UK AI Safety Institute, Ian Hogarth, reflected on 1 year in that role and made an announcement that they're opening up a new office in San Francisco. Ian writes, "It's been 1 year since I was appointed chair of the UK AI Safety Institute. In this time, we built one of the largest safety evaluation teams globally and are already conducting pre-deployment testing. This is our 4th progress report. Over the last year, we've gone from building a startup inside government to shipping product. We've built one of the largest safety evaluation teams globally with a team of over 30 technical researchers and counting. And we're not just scaling in the UK, we're now opening an AISI office in San Francisco to cement our transatlantic partnership with the US and to work with the best and brightest talent on both sides of the Atlantic." A press release from the UK government reads, "The San Francisco expansion marks a pivotal step that will allow the UK to tap into the wealth of tech talent available in the Bay Area, engage with the world's largest AI labs headquartered in both London and San Francisco, and cement relationships with the United States to advance AI safety for the public interest." Secretary of State for Science and Technology Michelle Donnellan said, "This expansion represents British leadership in AI in action. It's a pivotal moment in the UK's ability to study both the risks and potential of AI from a global lens, strengthening our partnership with the US and paving the way for other countries to tap into our expertise as we continue to lead the world on AI safety." Speaking of AI safety, Jan Leike from OpenAI kicked up a dust storm at the end of last week when he resigned as head of alignment and the super alignment lead and took some shots at OpenAI on the way out. He wrote, "Stepping away from this job has been one of the hardest things I have ever done because we urgently need to figure out how to steer and control AI systems much smarter than us. I joined because I thought OpenAI would be the best place in the world to do this research. However, I've been disagreeing with OpenAI leadership about the company's core priorities for quite some time, until we finally reached a breaking point. I believe much more of our bandwidth should be getting ready for the next generation of models on security, monitoring, preparedness, safety, adversarial robustness, super alignment, confidentiality, societal impact, and related topics. These problems are quite hard to get right, and I am concerned we aren't on a trajectory to get there. Over the past few months, my team has been sailing against the wind. Sometimes we were struggling for compute, and it was getting harder and harder to get this crucial research done. Building smarter than human machines is an inherently dangerous endeavor. OpenAI is shouldering an enormous responsibility on behalf of all of humanity. But over the past year, safety culture and processes have taken a backseat to shiny products. We are long overdue in getting incredibly serious about the implications of AGI. We must prioritize preparing for them as best we can. Only then can we ensure AGI benefits all of humanity. OpenAI must become a safety-first AGI company. To all OpenAI employees, I want to say, learn to feel the AGI. Act with the gravitas appropriate for what you're building. I believe you can ship the cultural change that's needed. I'm counting on you. Now, this is deserving of a much bigger discussion. It feels to me like we're starting to see a bit more of a cleave, where the AI safety side of the space feels greater and greater concern every day, while at the same time, people on the other side of that are moving away from even giving it lip service. It's a really interesting tension that I think could have pretty dramatic impacts on how the field of AI evolves. But for now, that is going to do it for the AI Daily Brief Headlines edition. Stick around for the main episode.